Hello, my name is Ben.
My name is Josh.
We've got our guest here, Ben Lewison from West Ham, and we're here today for the inaugural FPL Fridays. Let's get into it.
So, in FPL Fridays, we're going to take you through all of the previous game week and then have a guest on, like Lewington, and speak about the specific team that they support.
Yeah, it's going to be good. We're going to have a guest on every single week. So if you'd like to get involved, make sure you message us on Twitter. We're going to be in London. So yeah, message and maybe one day you will be on FPL Friday. So we're here obviously with our guest Lewington, a West Ham fan. Now, Lewington, how come you support the Irons?
Well, not very excited story really, just through family, just the standard reason really, but apart from that.
Unfortunately born into it.
No glory hunter there.
No glory hunter is all West Ham. Right, so Lewington, obviously you're a West Ham fan. Since lockdown, you've not been able to go to games, but before that, did you have a season ticket? Did you go home and away? What sort of thing did you do?
Yeah, well, I had a season ticket since we moved into London Stadium, but apart from that, I went to a few games at the Upton Park.
Nice.
So I go every home game and then as many away games as I can.
So here's a loyal fan. He doesn't just sit there on TV and watch their games.
Home and away.
Yeah, not like one of these big six teams. Yes, we're slandering you.
So, talking about West Ham's FPL assets, what three players would you tell the viewers to get into their teams?
Well, I'll go for someone like GW1, solid player, been unreal for us since he signed, and someone like Thomas Suchet.
Yeah.
I reckon without them we would be playing Championship football this season. They are vital.
Thomas Suchet, cheap as well, 5 million.
Twitter has been going crazy about him. Yeah. So seeing Lewington going on about him, it's only bringing more confidence into that option.
Although West Ham have such a bad run of fixtures at the start.
Yeah, it is not a good fixture. Lewington, what do you think about your opening run of fixtures?
Well, I mean, it couldn't come any worse. It's typical West Ham, but Newcastle first game, we should hopefully get away with Suchet with goal.
Yeah.
Suchet with a goal.
Suchet with a goal. It's a big, bold prediction from Lewington. Wow. Right, so we're talking about FPL, so we may as well get into it. Lewington, what's your fantasy Premier League team looking like for game week 1?
Well, I've got goal.
That's a good shout.
Keeps a lot of clean sheets and got Sheffield United away. Sheffield United don't really score many goals, so hopefully keeps a clean sheet. I've got Wembley, Alexander-Arnold and Doherty, so hopefully
big at the back.
Strong.
Doherty scores a lot of goals from a wing back in. Alexander-Arnold gets he just spans crosses.
Yeah,
Gets a lot of assists.
He loves a goal and assist.
Loves it.
And I've got Abelia. The standard, I reckon he'll be
He's going to
smashing
score
it first of the season. Yeah,
he'll
he'll get a couple. And I've got Bowen, Suchet.
West Ham boys. Yeah, we get the West Ham boys.
A bit biased, but they both got a goal assist last time we played Newcastle, so hopefully history repeats itself.
Yeah.
That's good. That.
Mitrovic and Martial up top.
Ooh.
Right, Mitrovic might be a.
Those are two big calls that have been controversial on Twitter recently.
He might not score first game, but I reckon he'll pick up a brilliant score from
Through him.
Yeah, Martial just
Bangs
Gunman,
goals.
yeah.
Gunman Marshall.
So that's Lewington's team. Let us know what you think of it in the comments. Don't be afraid to roast his team, because there are a couple of debatable options in there, but we shall see how it goes, because last season Lewington had a very good FPL start. Okay, so this section of FPL Fridays is called Test Our Guest. Now, this is a few questions that Lewington has a minute to answer, and we're going to see how many questions you can get right, okay? So, I'm going to put a timer on the screen here, and we are going to have a minute on the clock. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Out of all the West Ham defenders last season, who gained the most FPL points?
Cresswell.
Wrong, Bonner. Out of every West Ham player last season, who gained the most FPL points?
Antonio.
Correct. In the 1920 season, how many clean sheets did West Ham keep?
7.
Correct. Who has made the most appearances in the Premier League for West Ham United?
Noble.
Marky Noble is correct. Who was your top goal scorer last season?
Hannah.
Wrong, Antonio. Who was your top assister last season? There is 2 possible answers.
Fornals.
Correct. West Ham's most expensive assets are all priced at 6.5 million. Name 2 of them.
Anderson. Haller.
Correct. Who has made the most passes for West Ham last season?
Right.
Correct. You're playing Newcastle first away day of the season. Name Newcastle player with the most points last season.
St. Maximin.
Roland Dubravka. Name a player that got a red card for West Ham last season. That is time. That last one was either Masuaku or Cresswell. Good. Quite a few points. Wow. That was pretty good for me, I'm not going to lie.
Decent.
I think you should be happy with that. Great effort.
Delighted.
Let's see if anyone can beat him.
So, moving on, after a good performance from Lewington, we're looking at game week 1 fixtures and who are playing and who are not.
So the main teams that are not playing, obviously, are Manchester City and Manchester United, respectively. They're meant to be playing Burnley and Aston Villa. So obviously, those 4 teams will not be playing in the first game week.
So game week 1 starts at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Crystal Palace versus Southampton. A battle of the budget options.
Definitely. It could be a very tight game with potentially maybe a 1-0 each way, I'm thinking.
Definitely. You're looking at Southampton's clean sheet as well, because a lot of people do have Alex McCarthy and Carl Walker-Peters.
Exactly, and recently we've seen Eberachi Eze come into the fold, who could provide attacking options now for Crystal Palace.
6 million, looking at that budget range, but another 6 million option on the other side is James Ward-Prowse, set-piece king, definitely could provide some points.
Yeah, I think that there is potential for bonus points to go to whoever scores, I believe. The next game is going to be Fulham, who are at home to the Arsenal.
Goals galore in this game, I'm feeling. I reckon it won't be a clean sheet either side, but you'll see the likes of your Aubameyangs and Mitrovic's returning.
Aubameyang season, he's going to get goals, I reckon. That Fulham defence is very leaky, so I think we could see a big Aubameyang haul.
Captain choice for sure. So, a massive game to open the start of the season. We see Liverpool, the champions, take on newly promoted Leeds. 2 big teams. We're looking at the likes of, if Trent is going to start, he hasn't featured yet in pre-season. A lot of people will be relying on Mo Salah to get them a rewarding set of points.
Yeah, for the neutrals, this is a very intriguing game. Mo Salah, as we know, at home, at Anfield, gets points.
Always.
He gets big hauls, he gets lots of goals and assists. So we could see a big haul from him this week.
Definitely, but on the other side, we've got Leeds. Can they bring that defensive record that they've had in the Championship into the Premier League and be like a new Sheffield United?
Yeah, we could see Bielsa's formation, high pressing. It could work in their favour,
It's
just
like
like
a
Sheffield United.
Dog-eat-dog press. That is what's going to happen.
So next we have got Spurs against Everton. There are a few FPL options in there, but it's also a very big game.
It's a huge game. We've got the likes of Harry Kane and Son in that Spurs lineup. A lot of people with high ownership on those, as there's no Manchester assets playing this weekend. But then on the other side, we've got the likes of like Richarlison and DCL.
Yeah, there is a lot of good Everton options. Even Lucas Dean, he could get a few attacking returns, especially against Tottenham. We know it's opening day of the season and anything can happen on opening day.
A lot of defensive assets, I'd say, in this game, especially through Spurs, like Eric Dyer at 5 million. It'll be interesting to see how Mourinho lines up in that first game.
I think Mourinho's wanted to set up with a 5 at the back, not to concede many goals. So we could see, again, another potential 1-0 each way.
Next up, we have newly promoted West Bromwich Albion taking on Leicester City. A real big game for the assets.
Yeah, Pereira, of course, I'm pretty obsessed with him at this point, that he's going to get loads of assists. So start the season off well, lad. We've also got Jamie Vardy up front, who, against promoted teams, he just loves scoring.
£10 million, and he's almost a shoo-in for me. I think he definitely will be in my team to start the weekend, and maybe even a captaincy option, because he loves a goal against West Brom.
We'll have to see. They've also got a few good other options. They've got James Justin, obviously, at the back, 4.5 million. Iose Perez, Barnes, Maddison. Yeah, there's a few attacking options that could get high returns this week. Right, so next we've got Lewington's team, West Ham, who are playing Newcastle. I believe that West Ham can get a result out of this, and I think some attacking West Ham assets could be something to invest in.
Yeah, they've got the likes of Antonio, quite highly owned. But Newcastle, on the other hand, St Maximin, they've got a lot of attacking potential. They've just brought in Jeff Hendrick, who's a Premier League proven player. I think this is going to be a really good game and a good game for the FPL.
I think it's going to be an entertaining and potentially high-scoring game.
Moving on from Saturday now, we're on Monday, 2 8 o'clock kickoff, starting off with Brighton at home against the newly assigned Chelsea. Signings galore.
I am quite excited to see how this Chelsea team lines up, and potentially we can see which FPL assets we need to get in quickly for Chelsea.
Yeah, it'll be great to see who Lampard does indeed start. There's a lot of coronavirus cases going around that Chelsea team at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see, because a lot of the players that originally started have got coronavirus. So who's he actually going to start?
It is pretty much Lampard roulette this season.
It's going to be Lampard roulette.
Last but by no means least is a cracker of a game. Sheffield United at home to Wolves.
Huge game, huge assets being played in this game.
So I'll have Raul Jimenez playing and potentially Vinagre.
Yeah.
So it
budget defensive options.
Yeah.
I'll have John Egan playing in the defence. But it's going to be interesting because Matt Doherty could not be playing in that game.
Could not be playing in that game.
Is that going to affect Raul Jimenez's output? Because a lot of attacks come down that right hand side.
Well, if we think about it and look at it into the stats a bit more, there is a lot of other players who give Raul Jimenez the ball. It's not necessarily Doherty that gets all of those assists for Raul Jimenez. So we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. I do think it's going to be quite low scoring though. The games between Sheffield United and Wolves tend to be quite cagey, especially first game of the season. I think that's what we're going to see.
0-0 for me.
So that is our roundup for the Premier League games. Let us know what you think is going to happen on the first day of the season. Who's going to get the points? Who's going to blank? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely buzzing for the return in the Premier League. Let us know how you do on Twitter at FPL Graduates.
Okay, so this next section of FPL Fridays is going to be giving Lewington the reins, and we're going to ask you who you think is going to be the top point scorer of the game week. Of course, we're going to have a leaderboard for every week, and it's going to be somewhere behind us after game week 2 when we have Lewington's scores up on the board. So Lewington, who do you think is going to be the top point scorer of the week, and why do you think so?
Aubameyang. I think Fulham in the first game of the season couldn't really ask for a better game for someone like Aubameyang. Scores goals for fun, and you'll be looking to see Fulham in the first game of the season.
So Aubameyang is the pick for Lewington. So we'll see after this game week on the next show of FPL Fridays how he does, and we'll create that pick.
FPL Graduates Captain Pick of the Week. This is where me and Ben will pick one player who we think are going to captain, if we could, and then see how they perform.
Yeah.
And then there'll be a tally of who's a better captain picker.
We're basically going to work out who we think every week is going to have the top point of the week, basically. So they don't have to be on our team necessarily, but it's a little head-to-head rivalry that we could have going on.
Standard between us two. So for me, my captain for game week 1 is going to be Mohamed Salah. He's at home to Leeds United. And I've seen so many stats going around on Twitter where 70% of the time, one of the top assets, I think it was like Vardy, Salah, there was loads of them in there. 70% of the time, if they're playing at home, they're returning double-digit hauls.
So I'm going to be controversial with my pick, and I'm going to go for Aubameyang as my top captain of the week. Like Lewington said, he's just going to score bags. Against that Fulham defence, they were awful the last time in the Premier League. I don't see that changing because they conceded goals last season. They're going to concede loads against Arteta, and his full pre-season with Mikel Arteta, it's going to do wonders for their attack. So now on to the one to watch for the week. This is going to be a slightly differential option that we've all agreed on being a very good pick for this game week.
So a lot of good fixtures this week that you can choose from. We're going into the Crystal Palace versus Southampton game. So, Crystal Palace, they have loads of injuries in that defence and had a terrible record at home conceding goals last season.
Yeah, so we're thinking that our differential option could be Armstrong. At 5.5 million and under 5% ownership, he could be that player to jump ahead of your rivals in your mini league.
Definitely. Danny Ings at 8.5 million, quite expensive. You're not going to cover Danny Ings, but he will definitely be supplying and maybe even creating goals. So, that was our differential pick. Lewington, what are you thinking?
I'm just screwing you boys. I'm going to go Ward-Prowse. Free kick merchant, gets a lot of assists. Probably the best set piece taker in the league, I think. Hates Palace, so you'll be looking for a goal to score against them.
Yeah, now you said that, probably have jinxed us there. He did, he's a bit more, isn't he? A bit more expensive.
Yeah, 0.5 million more than Armstrong, a 6 million category if you get them in.
But it's now guaranteed that Armstrong won't return and James Ward-Prowse will probably return.
Just get a hat-trick of assists.
Yeah, love to see it.
So okay, we're going to be talking about the FPL Graduates League. So we've made a league, a mini league. There's over, I think, 400 people in it now.
There is a surprising amount of people in that league.
So many. Too many, to be honest. So whoever wins will get a small prize at the end. A link will be in the description. This is the last time you can sign up and join the league before the season starts. So make sure you go do that.
So this section that we're talking in right now is going to be the section called Manager of the Week, and we're going to go through and have a look and see who's done the best out of everyone in our FPL Graduates League. So you will get a little shout out every week if you do well in the FPL League.
Exactly. So maybe triple captain first week to get that shout out.
Yeah. Or maybe triple captain a bit further along the line when we've got more subscribers. Make sure you subscribe. So that has been our first ever episode of FPL Fridays. Make sure you like, comment, let us know what you think of this show. We're going to be doing it every week. Make sure you message us on our Twitter if you'd like to get involved in FPL Graduates.
Yeah, that has been it all. My name's been Josh.
I'm Ben.
I've been Lewington.
And we'll see you
next time.